his retirement in 2010.
But due to a recent health setback, Don Shelby never made it on stage for his latest production. WCCO's Liz Collin catches up with our former colleague and friend about his latest passion project that took an unexpected turn.
This is America, a town of a few thousand in a region of wheat and corn and dairies.
And so goes the foreword to the book that changed the way the world looked at small towns a century ago.
The town is in our town called Gopher Prairie, Minnesota.
Penned by Minnesota's most successful writer and novelist.
I've always been a fan of Sinclair Lewis, both as a historic figure and also because he was the hometown guy.
It was a few years ago when this guy signed on to help mark 100 years since Main Street. Set to play a journalist on stage who dreamed of interviewing Lewis, the Sauk Center legend.
The story basically evolves where the reporter not only dreams of bringing back Sinclair Lewis for an interview, but he also brings back Sinclair Lewis's two former wives.
Producer and director Jim Gamboni brought the life and loves of Sinclair Lewis to life, an original script to play out in person until the pandemic changed plans.
It was a real struggle to try to figure out what to do.
It's when the project morphed into a streaming video. Still not before more improv.
4 days before he was to start rehearsals with the rest of the group, we had to find a new actor.
On that day, and for 2 weeks following, I could not speak 2 words.
Don suffered another stroke in July, 17 years after the one that took him off the anchor desk at WCCO for months.
I'm in the process now of relearning how to speak.
It can be hard to tell in short conversations, but acting was quickly ruled out.
I guess that's why it's always been a dream of mine, to get the guy in a room and find out what makes him tick.
Terry Hellman stepped in to replace Don on stage.
In 1930, you became the first American to win the Nobel Prize in Literature.
It's a performance that they hope will attract a new generation to a local giant.
That's the first comment that people make. We didn't know he was so relevant.
In Excelsior, Liz Collin, WCCO 4 News.
Don will have surgery at Mayo Clinic next week with the hope that it will prevent him from suffering more strokes moving forward. And we'll have more on that tonight at 10. To see the 80-minute production of the life and loves of Sinclair Lewis, you can find a link on WCCO.com.
I thought.
Our former WCCO colleague and friend Don Shelby is opening up tonight about his latest health setback. Don has been finding his voice again since suffering a stroke in July. WCCO's Liz Collin shares how heart surgery next week at Mayo Clinic could protect him.
I'm in the process now of relearning how to speak.
The changes are subtle in short conversations with Don Shelby. He admits his words are a bit slower than he's used to.
Keep in mind that what we don't know is significant in all of this.
Words that for decades calmly came out, delivering the daily news.
Half of my tongue still doesn't work.
Still, it's taken the 74-year-old some time to make it this far.
Buddy, it is so good having you on this set.
Don's stroke this summer was the 8th he's suffered in the last 17 years. Doctors now believe the first procedure in 2004 likely did more harm than good.
I had a device put in to patch a hole which they thought was causing the stroke. They're going to remove the offending patch, which they now believe causes the strokes, as opposed to stopping them.
His latest health setback happened just days before he was set to start rehearsing The Life and Loves of Sinclair Lewis, a tribute to the Sauk Center legend marking a century since his bestseller, Main Street.
I'd like to ask you some questions, Mr. Lewis.
An in-person play the pandemic turned into a streaming video.
It, of course, made it impossible for me to act on stage because I could not say sentences. Let alone understandable sentences.
Don is still proud the show went on without him. With the help of speech pathologists, they expect he will talk like himself again in 6 months.
I'm not a fugitive from the law of averages.
Strongly against feeling sorry for himself. Grateful for the support.
I don't think of myself as unlucky. Quite the contrary.
Liz Collin, WCCO 4 News.
Don hopes you'll watch the 80-minute production of The Life and Loves of Sinclair Lewis. He says audiences will be amazed at how relevant it is today. You'll find a link to the play on WCCO.com. It's great to see.
come and have some booyah in South St. Paul.
We're doing it. Is this a video or is this video? The best in town. Tell them about your company. Tell them. Huh? Tell them about your company. There is no company. It's just me.